I'm Emmalynn.
I'm Jessica.
Today we are here with our fall TBR. My hair looks like pumpkin.
Spice.
Yeah, so I'm ready. It actually looks like pumpkin pie filling, but it's fine.
It's fine. Now, these are all books that we haven't read.
Yes.
So these aren't books we're necessarily recommending.
Unless they're sequels,
yes,
then maybe
that's
you
true.
can take away from the first book.
But we will have an upcoming video also on books you should read this fall. But all of these are books we're hoping to get to that we have not read. So, do you want to start us off? You're in the middle of one right now.
And I'll start with that one. So I'm in the middle of The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson. And this book is so interesting. It's not, like, creepy at all. And I don't know if they just... Maybe the show is creepier, because the show follows a family. And
The
this
cover
follows,
looks creepy.
Yeah, and this follows, like, a random group of people. Two of them think they're related, but, like, it's not, like, a family with kids and stuff like the show looks to be. So, if my expectations weren't what I've seen about the show, maybe I'd like it a little more, but it's just so incredibly slow. I'm on page 84 out of 182, which I know seems bad to, like, say it's slow. But if it's that short, I feel like it should be because it's fast-paced. And it's just kind of boring me. It's like Agatha Christie's writing, but I'm not really intrigued because I don't know what our plot is, so I don't know what to be waiting for. But we'll see.
Do you feel like the atmosphere is good at least?
It's okay.
It took you too long to answer, so I'm
not,
going to say no.
I haven't read it in like a week, so.
Okay, let's see. You hold this one up, because I'm going to talk about the sequel first. Okay, so she wants to read The Diviners by Libba Bray. So that is the first book in the series.
I hate this cover.
Yeah, I do too. So I guess the series is just called The Diviners Trilogy, I guess.
There was like 4 books.
There's 3.
Okay.
So I've read this one already. I really loved it. And then I want to read the second one this fall, which is Lair of Dreams. So the first one is about a girl named Evie. These books are set in the 20s, I believe, in New York City. So there's a great atmosphere of, like, flapper, like, what do you call when they would go to, like, a lot of jazz halls and, like, that kind of thing back in the 20s. Anyways.
I mean, it was, like, their version of the club.
Exactly. So she's, like, very vibrant, has a lot of life in her, and her parents don't like that.
Shocking.
So they send her to live with her uncle in New York City, and he has, like, this museum of, like, ghosts? Not ghosts, but, like, I don't know. It's like a supernatural museum, kind of. And so she goes to, like, help him with this museum, and then, like, a lot of mysterious things start happening. People start getting murdered. And so because they think there's, like, a supernatural element in it, they kind of solicit her uncle to help with it. And so then inadvertently she starts helping with it as well. So it's kind of like Jack the Ripper vibes, but set in New York City in the 20s.
Which you haven't read.
No. But, I mean, you mean Stalking Jack the Ripper?
Yeah.
But, I mean,
Jack the Ripper, it's real, but you should still read it.
I should. But, so then this one picks up where that one left off, and this one is, like, following Evie again, but there's a sleeping sickness that is happening in New York City that she, I guess, starts investigating as well. So I'm imagining, like, I don't know, like, people just go to sleep and don't wake up, but they're still alive, and maybe they're dreaming about some supernatural things. But I don't know. It's really cool to me. I really appreciate the author. I remember thinking this when I read that one. She uses a lot of, like, 20s slang, so it feels like you really are immersed into the culture of the 20s, because she just did a really good job of, like, bringing that atmosphere back to life. So I really enjoyed that. And I just really love Evie as a main character. She's like super strong, independent. She's brave, which can be kind of careless sometimes. But it's just a really great vibe for fall. Spooky, but not like too scary. So that's the Diviner series.
Okay, so do I go or do you?
I guess I'll go because you did too. So, I also would like to start book 1 in the All Souls trilogy, and that is A Discovery of Witches by Deborah Harkness. I have no interest in watching this show. I heard the show is not that great, if I recall, but, so this follows, a girl who is a scholar. I think she works at a library, and she comes across this manuscript about just like supernatural things, witches, vampires, etc. And she ends up like teaming up with a vampire. So I'm thinking she's a witch and he's a vampire, and they have to work together to figure out like what this manuscript means to their kind. But I think upon her discovering this manuscript, it kind of like reawakens all things supernatural in the area in which she lives. So they have to kind of like team up to figure out what to do about that. I don't know. I'm just interested because I feel like you never have supernatural beings necessarily working together. They're always at odds. So
Twilight.
Yeah, witches and vampires teaming up. I mean, like, what's more spooky vibes than that?
You know what movie I do want to watch?
What?
Practical Magic.
Yeah, I kind of want to read that.
Everyone talks about, like, I'm having a Practical Magic themed decorations, and I'm like, me too, because I've seen pictures. But I guess I should understand why I like that.
Well, let us know if you've seen Practical Magic, if it's worth watching. Should we read it first? Is the book better? Is the movie better?
Both.
Should we do both? Let us know.
I just know I copied my haircut off of Nicole Kidman in that movie. That's what I know about it. Okay, next up for me is The Wicked Deep by Shea Earnshaw, and I know this takes place in... Wait, it might take place in winter, or does it take place in summer?
I feel like it is in summer.
Yes.
But it's in the Pacific Northwest. Like on an island, so it's like
summer here is like either blazing hot and you have no AC, or you're like, are we sure it's June? So, I mean, anything with witches, it's just spooky season, and it's still hot here right now, so this is perfect to kickstart fall.
That's true.
But I know this is kind of like a more curse plot line. Of course, Oregon. 1800s, all those good things. I don't really know that much except it follows sisters, which is also always interesting.
Yeah, it gives Hocus Pocus vibes for sure because of that, I feel.
To know. But the cover was also stunning.
So basically there's sisters that were killed because they were believed to be witches. So because of that, they kind of haunt the area that they were killed in every summer. In regards to this book, I've read this book, Winterwood, and Shea Earnshaw's newest YA book, which I don't know.
Nobody liked it.
It makes zero sense. This is by far the best one.
I did read A History of Wild Places, and if you like The Village, 10 out of 10 recommend. The vibes.
Save that for our next video.
Yes, but I just had to mention, since we were bashing her newest, I'll tell you about a different book that's good of hers.
Okay, I'll say my next book is Rules for Vanishing by Kate Alice Marshall. So I've read 2 other Kate Alice Marshall books. One I absolutely hated so badly. I can't even remember the name of it.
These Fleeting Shadows.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I've never hated a book that I've finished so much in my life. Then I read her new book, and I did like that one. So I'm hoping that I will like this one as well, and the other one was just a fluke. But this one, all I know, is basically like a ghost story mixed with town lore. and there's a girl that supposedly, like, haunts this road every certain time of year. And this girl, the main character, I think her name is Becca, Sarah. No, Becca. Becca, her sister Sarah goes missing, so she goes to look for her sister Sarah, and she kind of, like, potentially finds out that she might be trapped in this world where the girl that haunts this road is, I think. So this is good for just, like, if you're wanting a spooky ghost story mixed with some, like, lore, which I find to be really interesting. I think this has a lot of potential. So, Rules for Banishing.
Okay, my next book is The Once and Future Witches. And
the cover is so...
I don't know that much about this book either, because I just keep saying I'm going to read it every year, and it just, the size really intimidates me.
It's not even that big.
It's over 500 pages. And for a book, a
the font is kind of small, actually.
That's kind of a lot, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But it's dual timeline, at least that's what the synopsis makes it seem like, unless they just separated it in a really weird way, because I don't know what the second timeline is. But one of them is in the 1800s, and it just, the tagline is, there's no such thing as witches, but there will be. So then we follow a group of friends who are trying to pursue the forgotten witches movement.
Mm.
So I also like things with a group of friends, because that just reminds me of, like, movies I would watch as a kid, like, almost Disney Channel, but, like, this is going to be the adult version. I love, Stranger Things, watching people make stupid decisions, and it's really entertaining. So, I feel like this will be immaculate vibes, if the vibes are as good as the cover.
Yeah, for sure.
And I love pages like this, which is also why I bought it. It was mainly because of how it looked. And the front is, like, all textures.
It can be
it's just beautiful.
A great decoration.
Yes, it's absolutely
If
beautiful.
it sucks, at least it's still baby.
I mean, the title makes me think it's dual timeline.
Yeah.
If I'm not, I don't think I'm the
I think you're right. I'm going to go with you right. Okay, so I have two classics on my list. The first one is Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. I have wanted to read this forever. I love the movie, every version. I've watched literally every version of Jane Eyre. I have a specific Jane Eyre movie version that I like, if you want to know. Maybe I'll link it down below, and you can love it too. But if you don't know, this follows a young girl named Jane who's an orphan. She had, like, a terrible childhood, just very mistreated. She starts out living with, like, family members. They get tired of her. They send her to, like, an orphanage / school for girls. She has, like, one friend that she really loves. That friend, well, I won't say. That's kind of a spoiler. She just has a really sucky childhood. That's all you need to know. She ends up becoming a governess for a wealthy guy who's very mysterious, and he
middle-aged man. He is
middle-aged. He's not young. Who is, like, master of Thornfield Hall, and he has a daughter named Adele who is 8, and he's, like, very absent, just sporadically. Like, he'll leave for long periods of time, but she ends up falling in love with Adele. She gets really, like, settled into her life at Thornfield, being Adele's governess, and she kind of starts falling for Edmund, is his name, or Edward. Edmund is Narnia. Edward. And anyways, there's some mysterious things happening in the house. Like, she wakes up and the house is on fire. She hears noises in the attic. You probably know the general premise of this, but if you don't, don't want to spoil anything. But this has great, like, fall atmosphere because, like, seemingly the house could be haunted.
I just feel
Edward is a very mysterious man, so I don't know.
I feel like we let this book get away with too much. Like, do we really overlook how ridiculous it is and how, like, crazy this is?
The reveal is a little out there.
I also feel like some people, like, really like him, and I don't really understand why.
I don't know, but I might be in the, like...
You're one of those people.
No, I don't think he's, like, endearing or, like, as great as Mr. Darcy, but I will say I do like...
Middle-aged men.
I do like Jane Eyre better than Pride and Prejudice.
I mean, I think I would too, because I tried to read Pride and Prejudice, and it just didn't have enough going.
This has, like, a plot. Like, there's a mystery, there's suspense, there's, like, kind of found family. I don't know. And this has more of a backstory, too, so, like, I feel like you get to know Jane as a character more, and you're, like, rooting for her happiness, and you just really want her to have something turn out well. I don't know. I just feel like the overall character building I like better in this book. Anyways, so that's Jane Eyre. I'm really going to read this. I really am.
Really. My next book is Frankenstein. I'm not even going to go into this. Like, if you've watched Scooby-Doo, you know what this is. If you've watched...
Who's Frankenstein?
Like, Alvin and the Chipmunks Halloween special, you know what this is. It's just... It's Frankenstein. And I'm finally going to read it, and I love this cover. I got it for $1 at Goodwill, so I was like, okay.
Ooh, it has teeth?
It was literally the only copy, so I was like, okay, this is a sign that I really need to read.
The chapters are weird. Oh, that was in notes.
It's less than 200 pages.
The font is very tiny.
Listen, I'll get over it. It's worth it.
Okay, on that note, I'm going to read Dracula, which I think you said you want to also. This cover is such a vibe. I got this
Is that the full one?
Yes.
Okay.
I got this at Half Price Books. It has this little, it looks like a journal, but it's not. Yeah, I've started this multiple times. I've started it on my Kindle multiple times, but I've just never finished it, but this is the year I am going to finish it. Maybe we should read it at the same time so we can, like, hold each other accountable.
Yeah.
Anyways, Dracula, Frankenstein, Jane Eyre, all the classics.
Okay, next I have Truly Devious by Maureen Johnson, and this is a YA mystery thriller series. There's 3 books, and then there's like a spin-off summer camp book, which I've heard people don't really like as much, but...
Oh, that's like the Monarchs or something?
No. It's called... I don't know what it's called, but there's
just the Monarchs by her too?
I didn't think so.
It looks...
That was like the butterflies.
Yeah, it looks similar. I don't know.
I don't think so. But this takes place in Vermont at Ellingham Academy.
So it's like some dark academia vibes potentially.
But all I know is that our girl likes true crime. Of course, she finds the mystery because everyone wants to be like Hermione Granger. And so she sets off to get straight A's and solve the murder. So,
Natch.
Does. And that's all you need to know, and because that's all I know.
Being a scholar isn't enough. You have to solve some murders too.
But I loved A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, but what I love even more is private school settings, so I think this is going to be even better because who doesn't love snobby rich kids?
Pretentiousness for the win. Okay. This book is probably the one I'm most excited about.
I want to read this.
And that is The Last Tale of the Flower Bride by Roshani Chokshi. So, I read the Mexican Gothic last year. I loved the vibes of Mexican Gothic at first, but I ended up really hating that book. That book was like a bizarre fever dream. The things that were happening in there were like... Sorry. So I'm hoping this gives me what I wanted Mexican Gothic to be, but this just follows a married couple who are newlyweds, and kind of upon, well, first of all, the husband is a scholar of myths, and she is an heiress to, like, a massive fortune, I guess. But upon, like, them getting married, she's like, listen, just know, if we get married, you cannot go digging into my past. And he's like, bet you got money. So, something happens. Yeah, something happens. I think her aunt, who she's supposed to inherit this fortune from, is, like, on her deathbed. So they end up going back to, like, her childhood home. And then I think he does possibly start digging into some things. And stuff happens.
Is she, like, part of the mafia?
I don't know. She's got
that.
secrets. That's all I know. I mean, if you say, don't go digging into my past, there's a reason. So...
Well, what? Like, to me, if someone told me that, what do you think I'm immediately going to do?
I'd be like, yeah, I won't. Totally.
Hey Google, who is blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Tell me about her past. So, I just know there's secrets. There's supposed to be a great haunting atmosphere. I'm hoping this book redeems Mexican Gothic for me, because I need it too. That book was just not good. Anyways.
That's going to be like reverse Jane Eyre.
I don't know. Maybe.
That
I mean, B. Schwab blurbed it on the front.
That's a sign.
That is a sign. I mean,
there's a lot.
Emily Henry.
As she should.
Shannon Chakraborty, who I love.
Chloe Gone.
So...
This Alex girl is the author of the
yes,
Future
and
Witches.
this is... I thought that was a dude. Is it? I don't know.
I don't know. No,
Oh, it is a girl. Okay. Oh, she's from Kentucky. Anyways. Oh, Holly Black also blurred this. Okay, so this has great, like, fairy tale, atmospheric, dark, haunting vibes. And I am just... Oh, it's also... Oh, no, it's not her debut. Or it's her debut adult. Isn't it? Because she wrote The Gilded Wolves.
Oh, she did.
Yeah.
You're
I think
right.
this is her first...
Oh, start at... It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Anyways, moving on.
Okay, next up we have The Last House on Needless Street. Of course, Mom got me to want to read this. I mean, the people
it is
that
literally
this,
one of my favorite books of all time.
T. Kingfisher, Alex North, Joe
And
Hill.
this is Sarah Pinborough.
Yeah.
Like, that's an arc too. Somehow
Stephen King and Joe Hill both liked this book.
Somehow I got this arc. It was at the library sale, which I don't think you're supposed to sell.
I think you can donate them after they come out,
okay.
but I don't think you're supposed to sell them necessarily because you were given them.
Okay. Anyways.
But
This
I
book is
literally just
everything.
know this is psychological thriller because man has different personalities. I know we follow this cat. I don't know what its name is. I know it reads the Bible, and that's it.
Well, you think he has multiple personalities, but does he? I don't know. You'll have to find out.
Okay, well, you said it reminds you of Split.
Yeah.
And the guy from Split does, so.
You'll see.
But I
guess
really,
you'll see.
like, thrillers, people that, like, read synopsing of thrillers. Yeah, like, right before you read it, I just think that's so stupid.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
honestly, like, you have to go into this book, the blinder the better, and, like, don't expect to figure out what is going on until the very end. Like, you just, you won't. And
Also,
I loved that.
This is probably, like, having a YouTube channel is probably the worst thing for me to do. Because I just don't read the synopsis of anything. Because I want to be surprised.
Yeah, and then we are supposed to, like, tell what it's about and we don't know.
So I can do reviews if I remember what it's about. But thrillers, why would you want to know?
Yeah. I don't think the synopsis of this really gives much away.
Well, there's not anything on the cover, so...
Yeah.
But
it's so good.
I can't wait. I need to read this now just to see if it'll pull me out of my slump.
Okay, the next book on my TBR is One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig. And all I know is this is supposed to be a gothic fantasy. Basically, this girl, like, she lives in this place where there's a lot of bad things happening, and she has, like, a monster living in her head that she calls Nightmare. And That's all I know, honestly. I just know that... I don't need to look in that. Why did I just do that? I just know that, what's her name? Carrie Can Read liked this, and the way that she was describing the magical system in this sounded very intriguing to me. But this almost reminds me of Snow White and the Huntsman, if you've ever seen that movie. It kind of gives me, like, that vibe. I feel like the setting is similar. But this has a lot of dark magic going on. So it's like...
With a title like that?
Yeah, I know.
With a shadow as your bestie?
Right. Oh, and the girl that wrote A Far Wilder Magic blurbed it. But it says, a maiden must unleash the monster within to save her kingdom in this dark, lush, gothic fantasy debut. This is a debut, and it's also a series. I think the second one comes out this year. But, yeah, if you like dark magic, gothic vibes, fantasy, fantastical elements, I think this would be a great thing to pick up. I'm not recommending it because I haven't read it yet. But it could be. Maybe look into it.
I trust Carrie.
I do too. Maiden, Monster, Martyr. Alliteration. You got me.
I love it.
We love to see it. Okay.
Okay. My next book is... Just don't be too shocked. Okay, I know this is crazy. A Rebecca Ross book.
No way.
Okay, I've been a stan since... Not since I read Divine Rivals. Since I read Sisters of Sword and Song.
Yeah.
A YA book at first. Which I know Divine Rivals is YA, but this is old. And you should totally read it.
The cover's
it's
really cute.
So good. Again, sisters. It's just... Anyways, we're not here to talk about the book, but it's really good. All I know about this is there's like some elemental magic, which just immediately makes me think of Frozen 2, but I'm going to try not to think about that while I read this. Just a little fire chameleon. It's fine. But it also says this book starts with a letter, which I guess is her theme since Divine Rivals is about letters.
That's her MO.
So, I don't know. I don't know anything about this.
I feel like I
know
heard,
the cover is stunning.
Reagan say that there's like a bard in this who, sorry, I just pulled your hair, who goes around like singing about the different towns. Does it talk about that?
I love that. I don't know. It just
makes me. Oh, it does say.
Just says girls are going.
Bard's music.
Ooh.
So that's cool.
Yeah,
that's
it says girls are going missing. This immediately reminds me of Once Upon a River. Just the cover, the musical element.
Which
the disappearance. Yeah, because you've read it. Elle.
No, I haven't. I'm saying we love the musical element.
I know. I've been trying to get her to read that for a while, too. But anyways, again, I'm not very helpful. But don't you just love the cover?
Yeah, and it's much prettier than the hardback,
yes.
too. Okay, this book we have owned since it was a book of the month, I'm pretty sure. Or did we find this somewhere?
Yeah, it's embarrassing. I read like a chapter, and then
21.
And then I think I just probably got something else in the mail.
Okay, so this book is Dual Timeline, and it follows a group of women in the 18th century in London who have a secret apothecary, and basically what they do is they make like elixirs for women who are in bad marriages. So if my understanding is if they want to like their husband, then they go to this secret apothecary, they make them like a tonic, and then they are no longer existing. And so
they're unalived.
They're unalived. And then fast forward like 200 years later, this lady finds one of these vials, and I think she is in, like, either an abusive marriage or some type of bad relationship. And so she starts, like, researching this secret
I think actually group. She was supposed to get, like, married, and the guy cheated on her. Or maybe her husband cheated on her.
Yeah, it's her husband. Yeah, he does. It says her husband's infidelity. So she discovers, like, a link between the vial that she finds and the secret society that made, that had this apothecary. And so I guess she starts, like, digging to figure out how to use it. I'm not really sure. I just know that it sounds vibey. And
the color is...
Yeah, the cover is cool. Beautiful. It has this little, like, beetle on the back, which is so adorable. I hate beetles, but, like, when they're a cartoon, it's fine. So, The Lost Apothecary by Sarah Penner. And also, she has another book, something... Seance.
It just came out, the London
Seance Society.
Yeah.
Which also looks very vibey. So maybe this could be a gateway drug into reading more books written by her. I don't know.
Our camera's being dumb. My last book is House of Roots and Ruin by Eyre Craig, and I already talked about this in my August TBR, so I'm not going to go too much into it, but this is the sequel to House of Salt and Sorrows, which is a gothic, paranormal, 12 Dancing Princesses retelling with a little romance, so I'm expecting that in this. I probably should read the first one again, but I don't really want to.
I remember, I read it after you. I could probably
I remember the ending of the last one. Anyways, I don't really know that much about this book, but that's okay because at least I read the first one.
I was going to ask, like, do you have to read the first book to read the second
Yes.
one? Okay, I was just wondering about that. Okay, this is a big avalanche. This is a big undertaking, but I really want to read The Secret History by Donna Tartt. And I started this book, actually, I've only read like 8 pages, but I started it just to see how difficult the writing style would be. And this, like, already hooked me in 8 pages. So, I am, like, maybe this could get me out of a reading slump. I don't know. If this moved quickly, I mean, it's over 500 pages, but this is, like, my absolute ideal vibe. And from what I've heard, this is, like, the OG dark academia, one of them. Like, present day.
Forget Frankenstein.
Yeah. But I read We Were Villains last year, I think. I wouldn't say I loved it, but I really enjoyed it. But this, like, the way that it starts out, just in the first chapter, like, you find out that there was a murder.
Does it remind you of The Maidens at all?
Yes.
Because that's what I was hoping for.
Yes. So this is, like, I mean, from what I understand about this book, it's kind of, like, revered as a modern classic already. So this is about a group of kind of, like, outcasts, kids who don't really fit in, and they're at this prestigious college, and they're kind of, like, taken under the wing of this professor, and so they kind of form this group, and in this group it sounds like they start testing out, like, the boundaries of morality, and so it's, like, in this academic world, based on the things that they're studying, I guess they're constantly being pushed to think about some just moral situations. And so I think, like, in doing that, it almost becomes like, how far can they go? Do they have boundaries at all? What are they? How are they going to test these boundaries? And then I think it ends up taking a really dark turn, which you can tell in the first chapter. But I feel like this would be a book, I'm not, like, a huge annotator, but I feel like already this would be a great book to, like, annotate for the first time, because her writing style is...
But how do you annotate, Mom?
Well, you're supposed to use little tabby things, but I just underline in pencil.
So
and that's
funny.
annotating
and
for
it's
me.
Like, never strays.
No,
like,
why would it be? Why would it be? That's why I don't cut my own bangs. I can't even draw a straight line and to underline something. You think I'm going to get scissors and take them to my hair? No! Anyways, yeah, I really want to read this, actually.
Then
maybe I will do this as soon as I'm done with the books that I'm reading right now, which is taking me way too long to get through. Which was going to be on my fall TBR, but I'm already reading it. So it'll be in a wrap-up. But it does have fall vibes. Eventually, I think. It's just really slow. Anyways, it's getting really hot in here because we have no fans on.
Also, we're going to a concert, so we need to leave.
We are. We're going to see Gregory Alan Isakov in Seattle at the Paramount Theater. By the time this is posted, we already would have done that. So that's not like stalker vibes to say that. But his album came out today. Well, last night technically. Mm-hmm. So we're just ready to go have a really good time getting in our feels, listening to all of these beautiful songs with amazing lyrics, all the vibey instruments. Yeah. So we're gonna go do that. We'll
read later.
Yeah, we'll eventually read this weekend, maybe tomorrow. But if you've read any of these books, maybe let us know which ones you think we should start with. Because, I mean, I think I'm going to start with this one. But, like, let me know, if you think one of these should be up in priority. And stay on the lookout for our fall recommendations for what books we think you guys should read that we have read before. So, that'll be coming soon. Ish. And we'll see you in our next video. Bye-bye.